Then let's talk about the functions in the selection operation. First, we can take a look at the functions in the selection operation. On the left side of the selection operation, there are hide and show all. Hide all show is the same as our hide all show. The principle and function are the same. Then what else is there in the selection operation? Material hide, material show remove means that we can hide the corresponding color, right? We can also cancel it. Right, that is, for this material, do I want this color? If not, you can hide it, or you can remove it, that is, don't want the color. Then this function is actually rarely used. And below is whether to generate, whether to produce something. For example, for this board, right, I want these two holes on this board, but I don't want this board, right? I don't want this layer board, but I want these two holes. For example, I want this hole and this hole, but I don't want this layer board. Then I can select this layer board at this time to, will it be produced later? Change it to no. After changing it to no, it will not be produced by default. That is, when we arrange the board, we will not have this layer board. Similarly, after we select these functions, there is actually a whether to produce on the right hand side, right? Whether to produce independently, whether to produce independently. Why is there a whole selection operation? To put it simply, when we select a single block, there is this board use column, right? When we select multiple blocks, there is actually no board use column. Do you see it? Then you have to select the operation and then perform an operation to decide whether to produce it, right? Yes or no, right? If it is no, it will not produce it. What else is there? For example, if I want a slot, I can completely replace it with a board. Do you see it? I just plug this board in. After it is plugged in, we can use the software. The default is a slot. At this time, I want this slot, but I don't want this board. Then I just select the operation of whether to produce it and open it. This board doesn't have it when it is typesetting, but there is a slot on it, right? Then, what does independent production mean below? Independent production is generally used for door panels. That is outsourced door panels, like those glass doors, right? Those are the doors that we don't make ourselves, right? What do those doors that we don't make ourselves need? They may need to be outsourced. Outsourcing requires size, right? Outsourcing requires size. Gradually add the ping and gate, add it and confirm the required size, right? Then we can select them and then click on the operation. Then independent production means that after clicking on independent production, our production software is imported into the country, not imported. That is, when we typeset in, there is no such board, but we can just count its size. We can count its size, then the report is right. Then I can export a board material list, select the desktop, right? The fresh folder is what I have at this time. If it is exported, it contains the size of our door panel, but it is not produced. Do you see it? 221 is our panel material list, which means what panels are in it and what other panels are in our cabinet. Then there is a 221 door, which means that our material list door is not produced and needs to be shipped out. Then when we export it, there is this table, right? There is a mirror size. To put it bluntly, we can customize it according to this size, and there will be no problem. This is called independent production. Independent production means that we don't produce it ourselves, but I need the size. In this case, we need independent production. Then there is this independent quotation below. If it is an independent quotation, it means that we have door panels, right? Or if we have drawn the surface, the quotation method may not be based on the expanded area. At this time, we can select the corresponding panel, and set an independent quotation for it in this area. After the independent quotation is completed, right? Which value is it? Which value is it? That is, after we finish drawing, we select it. After selecting it, our quotation information is put into use. Is it right? How much is the cost added? How much is the selling price? That's the value. Then there is the automatic stop below. What does automatic stop mean? We also talked about it when we added the door panels. To put it simply, automatic stop is for long door panels. When the door panels are longer, right, the material is not straight. There is a bend in the middle, commonly known as the banana bend. When the door panels are longer, there may be that bend when they are cut out. So our automatic stop is for the banana bend. Then there is a texture underneath, right? What texture do we use on this board? But in general, the following does not need to be modified. Let's just change one at random. This texture is usually used by our software. The best default one, right? The default one, right? For example, this back panel looks wrong, right? A single board can also be set here. That is to say, there is also its texture on the right-hand side, horizontal or vertical, right? That is to say, if there are multiple boards, there is also a texture in this selection operation, vertical or horizontal, right? You can set it. What else is in the selection operation? That is to say, there is also a hole position surface. What is the most common use of the hole surface? For example, for these panels, the designers who are more detailed may adjust the hole surface to the top when the hole surface exceeds a certain height, because the cabinet will look good when it is assembled, right? Well, it is rare to see the ding hole, that is the big hole. When the hole exceeds a certain height, I can select multiple or frame it, and then directly adjust the hole surface to the top in the selection operation. Then the hole surface of these boards, it's facing upwards. How do you see the hole surface? Click on the hole display. There is a hole display. Do you see the black one? This black one is the hole surface. It's the big pie hole. At that time, right, let's make them higher than that. Then we put the holes facing upwards, right? The cabinet will look better this way. And this is the hole surface, and there is a board note underneath. What are the most common notes? For example, if we have a handle, right, we need a shoe edge, a 45-degree shoe edge, because the 45-degree shoe edge can't be made, right? We can't open it on the machine, then we need to make a note in the board note. When we produce more in the future, when labeling, it will be reflected on the label. This is our board note, and there is an edge seal below. What does this edge seal mean? It means sealing the surface. Let's talk about what it means at the end. It means that the edge seal in the selected operation here is only used for special sealing. What is special sealing? For example, the sealing of this board is different. I may seal the second side, right? Or just seal the front side. Anyway, it is different from the normal sealing of the cabinet. This one of yours, if you want a board, you can do it here. Just delete F and you can change it directly. If there are multiple boards and I select multiple boards and there is no board in my hand, then I can set a cover for them uniformly in the selection operation, right? How much is the left cover, how much is the front cover, how much is the right cover, and how much is the back cover. After deleting F, we can quickly define many boards, which is a cover, and then there is a patch below. We select the corresponding board. After selecting the corresponding board, for example, if my board is broken, if it is broken or lost when it is opened, do I need to replace the board? If I want to replace the board, I can select this board or select multiple boards. We only need to click on the replacement board in the selection operation and enter the remarks. For example, 999 is confirmed. At this time, to put it simply, it means that when we open our production software, it is after we open our production software, there is an order list and a supplementary order list. Do you see it? Click on this supplementary order list and then find our 999, right? The front is our order name, and there is a note 999 at the back, right? Confirm at this time you see that this information has come up. Haha, we just opened it. We can directly optimize print labels, right? Upload this code and this is our supplementary version process. Haha, this is our supplementary version process. And then we also have what? Does hole position modification mean? For example, if I want to move the position of this hole individually or add a 3 in 1 or delete a 3 in 1, then I can select a single board and then modify the hole position in the selection operation. After selecting our board, we can click this selection operation to modify the hole position. At this time we can select the corresponding 3 in 1 to set its position. For example, let's go a little further out, right? I'll go to the side and add 90 or
100, right?
100. Then I want to add another 100 next to it. Can I add another 3 in 1? I can also add hardware 3 in 1. Confirm the left and right sides. The left side is right. Then, for example, it's 180. Then I can also delete hardware here. I select the corresponding hardware and delete it. Confirm, right? The 3 on the left and the right become 1. That is, what do we modify the hole position? That is, we can add hardware separately or delete them separately. In addition to hardware, you can also move the position of each hardware separately. This is our hole position modification, and then lock the hole position below. What is locking the hole position? For example, ours is like what we have now, right? My hole position has been modified. Or I forgot to indent this board because the hole position of this board is defined according to our size, right? It is defined according to our size. That is, my board may be 500 and it may have 3 holes, and my board may be 400 and it may have 2 holes. It is defined according to our size. At this time, if I forget to indent this board, I have already cut the material. I have opened it, including the side panel, right? I've already cut the material and opened it. Well, if I just retract this board in the current indentation situation, then the hole position will be changed. Minus 80, right? You see, it will become 25 gin spaces, right? If the hole position is changed at this time, then the holes on our side panel will be in vain, right? It was all in vain, so what can I do at this time? We can use the selection operation. There is a locking hole position. We can lock this hole position. After locking it, I can change its size at this time. Ha! The front extension minus 80 returns. Do you see this hole position? Even if it comes out, its position will not change. Ha! That is to say, these 2 holes are these 2 holes. They are punched out, right? We can also install this panel and use these 2 holes. This is called locking hole position. This is called locking hole position. Then below, we need that a cross groove process. This is actually a process. For example, I draw a few boards here, for example. It is also a 9 grid pattern, right? Three boards. Okay, then I put them in this time, and then the board extends down, extends to here, right? Normally this is impossible, because it is directly inserted, right? Then I can select the cross-shaped panels at this time. After selecting them, I can find the cross-shaped slot in the selection operation. The cross-shaped slot has a large opening, right? The wide opening means to make it wider. The deep opening means to make it slightly deeper. So you can see that this is actually the same as the principle of the 9 grid. Just open this kind of wide opening and let it open slightly wider. No one has a wide opening. The width of the cargo opening opened by 0.3 people is 18.3. The depth is the same. Let him open it a little deeper. Otherwise he can't get in, right? Otherwise he can't get in. This is our cross-grooving process. In fact, the logic is the same as our 9 grid. What else is there in the cross-grooving selection operation? Board splitting. For example, I add a cover board. The left side cover board is confirmed. Click the board to extend, extend, extend. To this part, right? If I want to separate this board from here, then we can take a look at it, right? Its height is 2 meters, so I can select this board and then select the operation board to split it up and down. Then go down 2 meters. At this time it will be disconnected, right? This is for our super large panels. The panels are separated. These are some of the operations we selected.